The second Caliph, Umar. Allah has placed truth upon Umar's tongue and heart. Hadith. Umar was born into a respected Quraysh family 13 years after the birth of Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. His family was known for its extensive knowledge of genealogy. When he grew up, Umar was adept in this branch of knowledge, as well in swordsmanship, wrestling, and the art of speaking. He also learned to read and write while still a child, which was very rare in Mecca at that time. Umar earned his living as a merchant. His trade took him to many foreign lands, and he met all kinds of people. This experience gave him insight into the affairs and problems of men. Umar's personality was dynamic, self-assertive, forthright, and straightforward. He always spoke whatever was on his mind, even if it was displeasing to others. Umar was 27 when the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, proclaimed his mission. The ideas Muhammad was preaching enraged him as much as it did the other notables of Mecca. He was just as bitter against anyone who accepted Islam as others among the Quraysh. When his slave girl accepted Islam, he beat her until he himself was exhausted, and told her, "I have stopped because I am tired, not out of pity for you." The story of how he embraced Islam is truly wonderful. One day, full of anger against the Prophet, he drew his sword and set out to kill him. A friend met him on the way. When Umar told him what he planned to do, his friend informed him that Umar's own sister, Fatima, and her husband had accepted Islam. Umar went straight to his sister's house, where he found her reading pages of the Quran. He started to beat her mercilessly. Bruised and bleeding, she told her brother, "Umar, you can do whatever you like, but you cannot turn our hearts away from Islam." These words had a strange effect upon Umar. What was this faith that made even weak women so strong of heart? He asked his sister to show him what she had been reading. He was at once moved to the core of his being by the words of the Quran, and immediately comprehended the truth of the message. He went straight to the house where the Prophet was staying and pledged allegiance to him. He certainly had a change of heart. Umar made no secret of his acceptance of Islam. He gathered the Muslims and offered prayers at the Kaaba. The boldness and devotion of this influential citizen of Mecca raised the morale of the small community of Muslims. The soundness of Umar's judgment, his devotion to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, his outspokenness and uprightness won him the trust and confidence of the Prophet, which was second only to that given to Abu Bakr. The Prophet gave him the title Faruq, which means the separator of truth from falsehood. When Abu Bakr died, all the people of Medina swore allegiance to Umar, and on Jamad al-Awwal 23, 13 AH, he was proclaimed Caliph. Umar's Caliphate. The most notable feature of Umar's Caliphate was how Islam spread far and wide. Arabia, Egypt, Iraq, Palestine, and Iran came under the protection of the Islamic government. But apart from this, the greatness of Umar himself lies in the quality of his rule. Once, a woman brought a claim against the Caliph Umar. When he appeared on trial before the judge stood up as a sign of respect, but Umar reprimanded him, saying, "This is the first act of injustice you did to this woman." Many times foreign envoys and messengers were sent to him by his generals, who found him resting under a palm tree or praying in the mosque among the people. It was difficult for them to distinguish which man was the Caliph. He spent many a watchful night, going about the streets of Medina to see whether anyone needed help or assistance. Omar's death. Omar died in the first week of Muharram 24 AH and was buried by the side of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him.